Today we are going to explore the concept of tubercular miasm. So, without wasting time, sit back, grab your notebook or tab for notes. And do not forget to subscribe our channel as it promises to dwelling with fascinating world of homeopathy with such interesting videos. So yes, in previous video, we have revised about the basic introduction to miasm and its evolution as Sora with the concepts given by various stalwarts. Today, we will be starting with tubercular miasm. I hope many of you are having some knowledge regarding this. Okay, so let's start. Tuberculosis miasm, which extend beyond its namesake disease tuberculosis. It's a miasm that deals deep into predisposition, disposition, psychological traits, certain other elements at physical level too. As we know, evolution of miasm, Dr. Hahnemann has perceived miasm on the physical plane based on the clinical observations. Okay, so it was further extended and given a philosophical touch by Dr. J.T. Kent, who raised the miasmatic theory to the state of mind which required deep-seated perceiving. Okay, Dr. Robert and Dr. Philip Spite made an analytical study of symptomatology of disease and correlated the miasm with symptoms. Okay, so जब तुम फिलिप स्पाइट का बुक देखते हो तो वहाँ पे उन्होंने कंपेयर एंड कॉन्ट्रास्ट के फॉर्मेट में दिया है सोरा, साइकोसिस, सिफिलिस, ऑल द सिम्टम्स ऑफ ऑल थ्री माइजम्स उन्होंने कंपेयर एंड कॉन्ट्रास्ट के फॉर्मेट में दिया है. ओके, आफ्टर दैट कम्स डॉक्टर C.M. Boger, who generalized the symptoms and converted them to the pathological generals. For example, keloid, gangrene, desquamatation, etc. Okay, so he also stressed form, function and structure of any disease condition. So what is form, function and structure? So form is all about the signs and symptoms of that disease. Function is whatever the physiological or the pathological process involved in that disease, and structure is the system or the parts of body involved. Okay, he has the opinion that disease evolves dynamically from Sora to psychosis to tubercular and syphilitic phase. Okay, so he was the first person to correlate pathology to miasms. And finally, Dr. J.H. Allen introduced the tubercular miasm in his book, The Chronic Miasm. He described Sora, pseudosora and psychosis. Here we get the birth of tuberculosis miasm. He stated that miasms, Sora and syphilis gave rise to tubercular miasm and called it pseudosora. Okay, so as I said earlier, tubercular miasm comes with strong family history or past history of the patient who may have one or more of the following diseases: tuberculosis of lung, pleura, meninges, bone, joints, glands, blood vessel, collagen tissue, GI tract, genitourinary system, etc. Or also sterility, that is one child sterility, diabetes mellitus, suppuration, recurrent abscesses, sinuses, fistula. Okay, so many. This is what we say, knowing predisposition or family history or past history of the patient is quite important in homeopathic case taking. Okay, so let's understand what pathology comes under tubercular miasm at physical level. As it perfectly elaborated by Dr. M.L.D. in their symposium volume, there is increased activity at various levels, that is emotional, intellect and at physical level. Along with that, there is overstimulation of sympathetic system. Okay, तुम लोग को पता है ना sympathetic and parasympathetic system. Okay, so I hope you all are clear with that. When patient is in tubercular miasm, we can see all their responses are hyperdynamic, changeable and alternating. So overstimulation of sympathetic system leads to the activation of endocrine and metabolic processes. Along with that, it affects the physiological processes like anabolism and catabolism. So what is anabolism? I'll tell you. It is a basic metabolic process by which organisms build complex molecules from simple molecules. Okay, so in short, body uses these processes to create important stuffs like muscles, tissue and other complex molecules for growth and repair. Anabolism increases, but what happens with catabolism? As catabolism is opposite process of anabolism, hence catabolism decreases with increased anabolism. This result in poor assimilation, which further causes nutritional deficiencies like anemia. Okay. Tuberculosis is characterized by glandular affection, hypertrophy, enlargement and induration of glands such as liver, spleen, lymph node, etc. This miasm also has strong lymphatic affections. Generalized lymphadenopathy can be seen in tubercular patient. Apart from this, we see chronic inflammation of skin, appendages, mucous and serous membrane, subcutaneous tissue, even lungs, etc. Also, one more characteristic feature of tubercular miasm is delayed or slow recovery. This is very important. Okay, delayed or slow recovery from acute or any chronic diseases. Easy suppurative tendency. Any wound injury has a tendency of pus formation. Okay, this is really important. Many of the times in children we see history of many infection or acute episodes that the mother says the child is not recovered or not well since those infection or those episodes. So we can derive tubercular miasm here. Okay, as the name suggests, there is a reduced resistance to tubercular infection following an attack of respiratory infection, which may land up in the fibrosis and will heal through it. Okay, so yes, this is what we have seen: main pathological involvement at the physical plane. It is helpful for understanding of tubercular manifestations. Okay, I hope you all are with me. As I discussed earlier, that tubercular causes hyperdynamic responses at mental level too. If we try to explain in a better way, the state where body and mind makes last effort or attempt to survive and return to normalcy. This is also important regarding tubercular miasm. Though in presence of continuous adverse condition, body at the level of mind and at the level of physical and mind too, लास्ट एफर्ट के लिए भी ट्राई करती है बॉडी. ओके, सो बॉडी पुशेस टू रिकवर डिस्पाइट ऑफ पुअर रिसोर्सेस. दिस may further lead to the destruction, that is syphilitic miasm. Okay, yes, now we will explore what happens at the mind level. We find extreme sensitivity at mind level too, hypersensitive to all the external stimuli. Perception is also heightened, which manifests the clairvoyance. So what is clairvoyance? It is the person has a strong intuition, or this is associated with extrasensory perception. In short, they have a strong imagination quality. But when this quality falls short, it leads to the frustration, disappointment, and this makes them feel insecure and anxious. This anxiety further leads to fear and fright. Along with these, we see the increased sexual desire is there, and the attachment to the sex leads to the indulgence in sexual activities. This has the adverse effect on their mind too, such as nocturnal emission, amorous dreams, aggravation during and after intercourse. The important triad of mental state we see in tubercular miasm is anxiety, fear, and fright. As we have seen physical expression, so there are some expression which are commonly seen at both physical and mental levels, such as irritability, restlessness, So irritability expressed at the physical level with spasmodic pains, cracks and fissure on skin, etc. So restlessness can be seen at the subconscious level through various dreams, and which further leads to the insomnia. Tuberculosis has extreme hopefulness, as I explained earlier, that mind and body push itself a lot. Hence, there are so much we can see hopefulness or cheerfulness in tubercular patient. But also they have a different mood swings and changeable mindsets, which has consequences of mental disorders like mania, hysteria, or temperamental issues. Okay. Yes, this is what all I have to say about tubercular miasm. I hope you are able to understand the miasm and its manifestation at the level of mind and body. Also, try to understand how SORA can progress to the tubercular miasm, and at what points both the miasm are different from each other. For that, you must watch our previous video of SORA miasm. Okay? Stay tuned for more such interesting videos. Thank you.